Hey guys, welcome to the Golf Podcast Live. This is episode 104. This PGA Tour Championship has been absolutely crazy with Scottie Scheffler wins at 30 under. Obviously, he had a 10-stroke lead coming into it, but what a season. 7 wins, plus an Olympic gold medal. Absolutely outstanding. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But with us today is a very special guest. His name is Jeff Hanning from Paradax Golf. It's an all-in-one cart bag. We're going to be talking about that. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Well, I thank you. It's my pleasure and privilege to be here with you on this beautiful Labor Day.
Exactly. Thanks, Jeff. A great way to enjoy the holidays, jump on a podcast. So appreciate your time.
Happy to do it.
Now, I was personally amazed with this product. It's a golf bag. Not only is it a golf bag, but it's a pull cart. It was the 2023 PGA Show
push
Inventors.
cart. I'm sorry, let me interrupt you. Push cart.
You could
That's
push,
right.
but you could pull it as well, right?
It's
It's
bad
a
for
push.
you, but there is that that third wheel. So yeah, we like to push it.
Oh, that's right. The third wheel that pops out in front. That's right. And so you got the 3-wheel cart. You could walk or ride with it because it folds up so easily and nicely. There's a nice graphic of it.
Yes.
It pops off onto the side, and you get that third wheel that goes underneath, which is a really unique patent. I think it's incredible. Much easier than to pop off the wheel and having to put a third wheel into the bag itself.
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about how this came about. This is a great invention.
Yeah, my daughter, I've been golfing forever, but my daughter was playing in high school 6 years ago. By the time I hauled her big 24-pound cart, her bag, and I was helping coach, so I had my cart, my bag, and we'd pick up her friend half the time. So there's 6 big pieces of luggage in the car, and it was ridiculous just to have to think about, all right, what do I need to drive today? Do I need to strap something to the roof? So I literally said, I'll buy one online. I'm sure they have a golf bag with wheels hiding inside. That seemed pretty obvious. It didn't exist. I involved my son, my daughter, everybody. Hey, find this thing for me. I want to buy one or 2 or 3. They didn't exist. They still don't. So excited to say that after building a prototype, getting some feedback from my kids and friends, and they said, hey, you should go for it. And here we are 6 years later.
What was that design process like? Like, how many prototypes did you go through, and what was that process like?
Yeah, I did. I hacked up a few golf bags and carts and tried to figure out, okay, how does this mechanism work? I did drawings on an airplane while I was traveling and tried to figure out, okay, I lift up on the handle. How does that kick the legs out? And how do I make room for it inside the bag? So I built the first prototype, kind of, rickety and was too upright, and the next one was too far leaned over. But I found some lightweight wheelchair engineers that are in my hometown, kind of at a famous company, and they helped me get the mechanicals figured out through CAD and prototyping. And then they involved me with a company on the East Coast in Connecticut that does golf bags and other things for Dick's Sporting Goods and Titleist and others. And it was just a great marriage between me and the new group of engineers. So we were firing ideas back and forth every week and try this, try that, 3D print this. No, we need this bigger, smaller. Oops, we forgot to leave enough room for all the golf clubs. Minor details. So probably about 10 different iterations, but probably by the third one, and it's about 90% like what we ended up with.
Yeah. Well, that's incredible. If you're just joining us, we're with Jeff Hanning. We're on all the social media platforms right now, live with Paradax Golf. It's an all-in-one cart bag. I'm really excited. One of your slogans is "The future of golf is here." A great commercial that will be running. You also have bags, belts, and caps with the product, which is very nice. You could reach Jeff at paradaxgolf.com. Also on the website, www.paradaxgolf.com.
And we'll make sure they spell it Paradax and not Paradox.
Right.
Because Paradax is a word people are not familiar with. So they usually go to Paradax Golf and they say, where the heck is this guy?
And that's right. That's a very unique name. Tell us about the name and where it came from.
Yeah. So basically, we've owned a business called Paragon Granite for the last 24 years. And we were looking to come up with a name for the golf product. In the meantime, we have a dog named Dax, kind of playing around with the logo. Next thing you know, Paragon, Dax, Paradax, with the paw print,
Right.
no less. So, and the dog
Nice.
was pretty important to our family. It's kind of a sort of an emotional support animal after we had a loss. You know, my son was coming back from a golf tournament and was killed by a reckless driver, and 5 years ago, and that
Oh, geez.
really put a big wrench in the works. So we got the dog, and he's just a complete sweetheart and sort of a savior of our family emotionally, and so he became a part of the story, as it were.
Yeah, Mike and I are
Amazing.
dog lovers.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got a golden. Mike's had many greyhounds and other dogs. And so,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
We're
a
not
big
ready for the work.
husky and Malamute, about 120 pounds. So he's a
Big
pretty
boy.
big boy.
Yeah. Amazing. I saw the pictures on the website. It's a beautiful dog.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, that's great. I'm really excited to get my hands on my first. I know you just got the shipment in. We're
Yep.
all excited to get the product. And make sure you check out Paradax.com and order your first
ParadaxGolf.com.
ParadaxGolf.com.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you go.
And I
Thank
love
you.
the fact that it's unique. I love that how it was created. I love where the front wheel hides. It's so unique, and it's not that heavy. It's only about 5 pounds more than an actual cart bag. So that's incredible. So make sure you check it out. Mike, you want to wrap things up with a question?
Yes, I'm curious about the weight because I
Yes.
have the Click Gear 4.0, which is
Yep.
a very heavy cart.
Yep.
And I go with a really light bag, a
Yep.
King carry bag, a hoofer, and it's
Yep.
still once that's loaded, I find it quite heavy. So how?
Yeah. So the thing is that we like to say, you never put your bag and your clubs on your cart and then try to pick the whole thing up. But in
Yeah.
our case, you have no choice. So we made it as light as we could. Most of the Click Gear carts are 20 to 24 pounds.
Mhm.
And our whole bag and cart and everything all together weighs just under 20. So a normal setup,
Wow.
you got about 24 pounds plus about an 8-pound bag. You're at 32 pounds. We're at about 19. So it feels a
Wow.
little heavier than what you're accustomed to because you don't pick up your cart and your bag at the same time once it's on the ground. But what I always say, we sell shoulder straps. I don't recommend them. I like you pull it right out of the car, immediately deploy the wheels and start it rolling.
Mhm.
So it feels sturdy. It's not going to tip over in the wind, but it's built very stout in every way.
And where can we find it? Are you any retail stores yet? or is it
Not
direct
in
to
retail
consumer?
yet. Since it's the first 400 bags that showed up in the container, we're doing a lot of local only when it comes to school sales. That's the girls that play in school. They always push a cart. We can
Mhm.
customize that front patch and embroider it with the school name. All the colors peel off too, and they're Velcroed on, so we can do very specific colors. So we will be starting a national marketing campaign here within the next few weeks. But basically,
Great.
we'll always be available directly at ParadaxGolf.com.
Fantastic.
Excellent. You're joining us with Jeff Henning, ParadaxGolf.com. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be in touch, Jeff.
Thank you.
And we're looking forward. We might be doing a giveaway in a contest in the future, so please stay tuned and
Excellent.
enjoy your Labor Day weekend, long weekend.
Well, thank you very much.
Mike and I
as
are
well.
going to. Mike and I are staying on a little bit, talking about the PGA Tour Championship, but enjoy. We'll be in touch.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Awesome,
Take
Jeff.
care.
Take care.
Thank you.
Well, Mike, I'll tell you, this PGA Championship has been incredible. Let's make sure we get another pickup and another logo for Jeff. It's a really great product. It's pretty outstanding. I can't believe that I told this to Jeff when I first spoke to him about a month ago, that I had the idea of clipping on wheels on a cart, 25 years ago. And I didn't understand why anybody did it. And it's pretty neat that this product is way better than anything I thought of, especially that the handle pops out as well, and you could put your bottle, you could have an area where you could put your things like a scorecard and whatnot. It kind of all pops into place.
It does look like a creative design. I'm curious to see it. I've been using the push carts for easily 15 years now, and I think it's one of the greatest things that I added to my golf bag was the push cart. Like I never take a power cart, very rarely, maybe in really hot weather or a vacation round. So I'm really curious to see what this looks like in person, and we'll work something out with Jeff that we can do a giveaway. So in the future here. So
Yeah,
looking
stay
forward.
tuned. Stay tuned. It's looking great. A great partnership and relationship with Paradax. We're also, a big shout out to ECS Agency, Raphael Golf Academy. Who's that? That's me. Castilla Roofing, as well as Lagmaster Sports, Mike Dixon, Mike Kelly. Guys, a shout out to you guys for supporting us and being with us, and Nude Beverages in the past. Look, this tour championship has been crazy. I don't like the format, Mike. It drives me bananas because he starts off at 10 under. You got to catch him. It's like really, really, somebody like Sam Burns or, Tagala could have caught him, could have been a little bit more compelling. Obviously, if he's got the lead, I'm going to give you a quote that Scottie Scheffler gave the media after he won. Basically, he's saying, I should win the tournament if I'm ahead. That's how I feel. You got to be pretty confident to say that.
Sure. You had 2-stroke lead. And the way I'm unsure, to be honest, of the format. And I know they've tweaked it several times since the FedEx Cup started, 16 years ago, I believe, 17 years ago. But it's comparable to F1. The drivers compete for grid position, and I see this as a strong comparison to that. It is a bit weird, having guys, starting 10 shots back and all that, but it is relative to their placement in the previous events. So, right. If they just reset the field and everybody goes for it, is that fair for the competitors? This, I'm sure there's a lot of conversation at the tour about how this rolls out, but I'm not 100% a fan of it, but I understand how what they're trying to do, and we'll have to see how it evolves over the years because they are making tweaks. But I'm with you. I don't know what the right answer would be to this. I don't have something in my mind now that would be a great solution. But I think, again, it's just comparing it to F1 is the most sensible way for me to understand it.
Look, it's a good comparison to think about. However, F1, we're talking about milliseconds start, but obviously pole position is really important, and second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on, right until 20th slot. But you got 30 of the best players. Why don't you just do a reset? Put them all obviously at even par and go for it. I mean, it's a top 30 guys. Now you got to prove yourself to play well. But that's just a thought, because you're not playing for $1 million anymore. First place, Mike, is $25 million. That T2 position Tigala had that costed him, that putt that he missed at the 18th really cost him, something like $2.5 million.
Yeah. Well, how about the 2 shots in the sand?
Yeah, that's right. He called the rule on himself. Good on him. Look how he played the next day. I mean, fate put things into place, or karma, whatever you want to call it. With the amount of birdies that he had on that final day, just unbelievable final round with Tigala, right? Just incredible. So just going back to Scottie for a minute, 7 wins on the PGA Tour, 1 Olympic gold medal. I know what I'm going for on Halloween, Mike. I'm going to have that green jacket on, grow out the beard, and have a gold medal on. It's a pretty good look.
Yeah, I think you might be a little short for Scheffler.
That's right. I'm going to put some platform shoes on.
Yeah, but definitely send us a picture of this. I mean, what is Scheffler won 62 million and change over the last year, approximately. It's pretty amazing.
13 wins since last February. That's a lot of money. you know, I don't even know what to say. The amount he's making on the bonus is the guys in the 80s and 90s. Those are career winnings.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's
His
getting in
caddy,
one tournament. Oh, his caddy.
his caddies made more money than some players in a career at this point,
Right, right.
which is unbelievable, right? This is very comparable to Steve Williams in the years he had with Tiger, where he was the richest sportsman in New Zealand, and he doesn't even play the game, right? And which is so. So Tim Scott is crushing it, and obviously, we all know the caddy has a huge impact on players' performance. He's not hitting the shots, but he's there as a consultant and a confidant through the round and helping keeping his player, in the present. So that the caddy relationship is imperative, but at the same time, it's all the player that does it. So he's one of fortune.
Yeah, the caddy role has changed over the years. Obviously, back in the day, let's say, for example, if I use Jack Nicklaus and he talks about his caddy, who's really there just to carry the bag, make sure that he's on time and he's got everything he needs in his bag, that he's cleaning his clubs, might give him some yardage, might give him a read once in a while, only if asked. The relationship right now, it's a big back and forth. It's a team effort. I don't know if it equates to the cash we're talking about right now, Mike, but it's it is what it is. Look, he had a 7-shot lead with 16 holes remaining, and then he fell. He fell back to Morikawa, who was catching up ever so slightly. We're talking about on, I think it's one of the holes, where the 8th hole, where he shanked the ball. Probably the worst thing you'll see any professional do ever on any hole, to be, especially in the lead. We're talking about a direct 90-degree shank. He almost went into the bunker on the far right, rolled down the hill, but his short game is so good.
I love seeing the pros shank, to be honest, right? It's like, because game is golf is a game of loss. Anything can happen at any given moment. One lack of concentration can produce a horrible swing and a horrible result that can train wreck your round. We've all gone through it. So I love seeing these guys struggle. Shows that they are human, but their ability to recover is unbelievable. And
to continue, right, Mike, you and I, sometimes it takes a couple of holes before you cool off and find your footing once again. But for him to go out on the next hole, which was a par 3, stripe a 4-iron to 3 feet to one of the best shots in the tournament on that hole, and make 3 birdies, not 2, 3 birdies in a row. It just goes to show his mental fortitude. I think people were looking at him more like a Dustin Johnson, not much going off in the head, being kind of like, zoning out a little bit. But I think people don't give him the credit for actually having the mental fortitude to move forward.
He's I'm trying not to laugh at that one. But Scottie's a quiet guy. He's confident. He doesn't appear to be a highly intellectual personality, but I think that's just part of it. He's understated. He's not a braggart. He just does his job. Focuses on the business, and he is comparable to DJ in a way, because he doesn't get upset, right? Like, you look at some of the wins DJ's had over the years in the U.S. Open, where getting called out for penalties and mid-round, and that would just send. Imagine Tyrrell Hatton, getting stroked, on he'd be raging, right? But DJ had the ability just to push it aside and carry on and do his business. And Scottie Scheffler absolutely has the ability to do the same, just unflappable. And and that's why he has so many wins in the last 2 seasons. It's incredible. But I always have to think how these the winners over the last 2 years, what that would look like had the fields not been torn apart and separated with the live drawn.
Right.
And all of
Right.
these characters, to have gone over to the live tour,
Yep.
were in the mix, right?
Yep.
And not to say Scottie wouldn't have had a pile of wins. I still believe he would, but and I'm not saying there should be an asterisk by any means, but there are, the winner circles might look a little bit different had all of those players still been
Yeah.
in the main, in the main events.
Excuse me.
So obviously they're at the majors, but I think Scottie, if he could have had the same winning streak over the last 2 years with those fields untouched, it would be even more impressive than what it is now.
That's a good point. If you're just joining us, we had Jeff Hanning on from Paradax Golf. We want to thank him, our other sponsors. We're going to try to shift over to thanking ECS, Castillo Roofing, and Lagmaster Sports as well. The Paradax's bag is just incredible. It's a 3-wheel bag. It's a wonderful cart that is light, that is, portable, and it's a wonderful invention. Those wheels pop into the pockets, as well as that third small wheel goes right underneath the cart, right at the bottom of the bag. And I just love it. I just love it.
I like the concept of it. I definitely would try it. I'm very particular with my bag setup, but I love to walk and push, and being out here in Vancouver with the rain, you're playing in a tournament, it's rain or shine. So when you have the ability to have your umbrella hands free, mounted to the cart, it opens up your ability to perform a lot better, because you see golfers carrying their bag and holding their umbrella. It is so distracting, and if you don't play golf in the rain, you don't realize that. Once you can take both hands off your umbrella and just you have a bit of a reprieve underneath the umbrella, so you get a break from the rain. Helps to keep your clubs dry, and that is key when competing in the rain. It's all about being able to stay dry, keep your grips dry.
Just the balance factor, Mike, with the 3 wheels. I mean, 2 wheels, things get wobbly, especially on the side hill lie, and you really feel like you have a caddy, because then you can put the umbrella on, you get the towel, you could loop it underneath the umbrella, and you could put all your stuff where needed.
It's really it does act as a caddy. It makes a huge difference, even on when it's 30 plus degrees out here and the sun's beating down, and you can pop your umbrella up and just give you a little bit of shelter from the beating sun. That helps too.
All right. Really, right back to the PGA Tour Championship. Look,
Sure.
Scottie's had a crazy year. We talk about the 7 wins. We talk about the Olympic gold medal. But how about balancing a new baby, being the face of the PGA Tour? You've got a commissioner who's, it was an irritating presentation. I mean, they spend hundreds of millions of dollars. They can't even get their microphones right. I mean, I don't know if you saw the presentation, but it was terrible. Anyways, he's gone through the arrest, right? The famous arrest that would have shaken a lot of people. That whole thing, and the neck injury, right? He had to struggle through it, and he talks about how it wasn't just a discomfort; it was a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain. So working through all of that and the travel, and then his putting game, Mike, his putting was just terrible, and he's still playing well because he's so good, tee to green. And then during the Bay Hill, where he had the first big win, where he came through with his coach Phil Kenyon, because he works with Phil Kenyon for his putting at Bay Hill. He went to that mallet, that tailor-made spider, and he started winning. That's where he got all his 8 wins, with that putter. And he doesn't. He talks about how it wasn't a big deal and how it did help him, but it wasn't the fact. I think it was a huge factor.
Well, sometimes you make that change, and those mallet putters can make a difference. Some people swear by them. Some people can't stand the look of them. Those spider putters are the right balance of size. They're not too big and obnoxious, and they do feel great. So that just either helps correct an error that he's struggling with putting, but it also helps give that boost of confidence. And he's just been on a roll with it. So, and the drama, the arrest. How about he goes out and would he shoot 64 the next day?
Yeah,
For that he did something just unbelievable, which that could have easily sidetracked many
yeah, right,
golfers.
right.
'Cause,
He got unraveled the next day. He shot a 70 something, but that's all right. I mean, all things considered, it's pretty crazy.
um, could you imagine being arrested on your way into a tournament round when you not even realize what's going on? You're
Oh,
just driving to the
you're
golf
just
course.
waking up, right? It's dark. You got a coffee going. This guy's yelling at you. You come out of the car, or you make a motion, and the guy, you want to drive away, because that's what you and I would do. We got a little bit of a temper. I mean, you and I would just like, yeah, I'm Scottie Scheffler, right? He doesn't, how humble he is. He's not going to say, "Do you know who I am?" He doesn't even say who he is. He goes, he basically kind of turned away and said whatever, and just kept on driving, right? And this guy went ballistic.
Yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately, other footage showed up, different angles that showed that this cop was overreacting, and he's since been fired. Charges dropped, pending Scottie not pursuing anything further. I gotta admit, though, if that happened to me, I was Scottie Scheffler, I think I would have pushed it further, because it's really here's someone who is holding a badge. It's supposed to be protecting society. Absolutely, totally overreacted. I think there should have been more out of that, not just threatening to, they'll drop the charges if Scottie doesn't move forward. Like that was a huge mistake, and it comes down to training and all of that. I think that could have been so easily avoided for everybody involved. So I would have liked to see Scottie pursue some sort of action on that, just to send a message. But
well, at the end of the day, no
it is what it
record,
is.
right? At the end of the day, no record. It actually gave him some street cred.
Yeah.
Because he was sort of like, the guy who's too squeaky clean, right? He's the perfect family guy. He's a Christian. He does all the right things. He's not on social media. And so, it's pretty funny to see him in an orange shirt or an orange jumpsuit or whatever they put him into.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To get through all that. But the question was, Mike, new baby, arrest, injury, all the travel. What's he going to do next year? Is he going to keep it up? Is he passionate enough? What's your opinion?
I think he'll keep it up. Right. There's lots of he's got the majors to win. There's history to chase. He's got a long way to go to catch Tiger's winning record. So I don't think that's in his mind, but he's probably wants to get more majors and keep adding to his resume, because he's on fire right now. And I mean, golf's fickle. This could change. He could pull an Ian Baker Finch and develop the yips and not be heard of again and be in the announcer booth in 2 years.
Yeah,
that's unlikely, but golf's a crazy sport. Anything can happen. So
he's not much of a talker. He'd be kind of boring talking. You need a bit of a personality.
Agree.
Like a Phil Mickelson in the booth. He's outstanding.
Kevin Kisner is great.
Trevor. Even Trevor Immelman's got a lot of passion. He talks outside of the box.
Experience. He's won quite a bit and won a Masters. So people are going to take him serious. So Scottie he's a quiet, reserved personality. So maybe he'd be a bit boring in the booth. And obviously we're totally speculating when we even suggest that, because I think he's got a lot of golf left.
Gone is the era with announcers. Like, you have somebody like Jim Nantz, right? And then you have a doppelganger like Hicks.
Yeah,
you can swear it's his younger brother or something. I mean, from the voice to the haircut. I mean, he's sort of like the cookie cutter or golf announcer.
Yeah, well, they're a very comforting voice, and politically correct. You got the Johnny Miller days are over. Like having Kisner in the booth now is more comparable to Johnny Miller because
Yeah,
let some off color comments and
yeah,
inputs come out there, and I would like to see more of that. I'm not that I want to see PG golf announcers,
yeah.
but I'd like to see some comedic comments. Faraday had been muzzled over the years with
Home was
NBC.
pretty good. Home was kind of
Yeah,
funny. He's got some
home was great.
personality.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Right. And it doesn't mean it's got to be, insulting or mean, but it could, get some, comedic, witty phrases out there. I think would be great for the game. There's so much golf on TV now. It's really, to be honest, gets a bit boring because there's so many different tours. Golf Channel's got all kinds of different, from LPGA to Corn Ferry and PGA
yeah.
Tour. There's just always something on there. So having some of the announcers keep it interesting. So like how about Verity talking about dogs not being able to find that ball if it's wrapped in bacon in the rough, right, and making all
Right,
these
right,
off the
right.
cuff comments. I think we're not seeing enough of that out of the announcers. And we know they're amazing statisticians. They know the game inside and out, and they got their history dialed in. But I would like to, chuckle a little bit when I hear a witty comment coming out of the announcers.
Yeah, so you got Gravy in the Sleeves. They're making their way into,
Yes.
CBS commentary and working their way through their podcasts on Sirius XM. They're doing a really great job. Yeah, there's a bunch of guys like that who are doing well. A shout out to some of our acquaintances who come on the show. I bothered them today to come on the show because we had a cancellation, not realizing it's Labor Day weekend. Everybody's doing their own thing, going out, having a family. So shout out to Mark Immelman, Mark Baldwin, Vince Cellini, Alan Shipnuck. Um, the list goes on. There's quite a few.
Dub Sanderson, Dottie
John Cook,
Pepper.
Mike McAllister, all these Gary Williams, Hank Haney, all the Matt Adams, all the guys have been bothering, including Craig Can, Greg Chalmers. I know some of you guys got back to us, and some of you are traveling with family. Bob Harrig, Dubs Anderson. Thank you guys for all your support this year and bearing with my messages. So I'm trying to get guests
Yeah,
on.
don't scare them away, Raf.
Yeah, you've got it. But let's wrap this up with with Scottie Scheffler again. This guy does not warm up with a launch monitor. In a day where guys are dialing in, he's naturally playing by feel. What does that say? Like, I'm a big proponent of that. Obviously, he uses a launch monitor when he needs to, but he doesn't rely on it. Like, these guys are carrying, the GC Hawk in their bag. Right? It's the most portable system, right? The GC Hawk, they've got that thing in their bag when they're actually playing practice rounds or on the Pro-Am or on the range.
Yeah, I mean, the technology's there, so you can't fault anyone for using it, but you have to respect a player that goes by feel, because that's when you get to the range, that's what you're looking for the day of a tournament. Looking to warm up, so you see where your ball flight's going, get a sense for it, and it's a skill, judging your distances and all of that, but you don't need to get into the technical numbers too deeply before a round, unless something's terribly wrong with your swing and you're trying to, desperately trying to fix it. But when you're in the lead of the Tour Championship, you're just trying to get a feel for the day, loosen up, hit a few shots, simulate what you might expect to see on the course, and then get out there and do it. And
Yeah.
Scottie, with this peculiar footwork and all of that, like it's great to see something different. It's not a copy of Iron Byron out there on the range. Like, he's got his own swing, just like Arnold used to say, swing your swing, and that's what Scottie's doing.
Yeah, I love that quote. Swing your swing. If you look at somebody like Randy Smith, I've got to give him props because he's been with him since he was like 7 years old. And he hasn't changed his coach, and he makes it very simple. And he always talks about they go through simple stuff. They go through fundamentals. So you're looking at your grip, you're looking at your club position, your ball position, stance, posture, and alignment, pre-shot routine, and that's what I teach as well. And once you've got that established, I'm always tweaking. I've got top amateurs and even professionals or beginners. I'm actually teaching the same thing.
Hmm.
There's different ways to communicate it. Like there's a different way I'm going to talk to a 7-year-old. I'm not going to get all technical compared to somebody who's a 35-year-old and playing for a club championship, right? There's a way of delivering it, and I think Randy Smith is doing it right. He's not changing his swing. Look at Tiger. It took him a year and a half for that big swing change, right? When he went to
Oh
Hank
yeah.
Haney, there was that whole curve. When he went to Sean Foley, I think he was best suited when he just stayed with Butch. Butch kept it simple, didn't change his swing, tweaked him out, and that's why Butch is so renowned for doing
Hmm.
what he's doing. Um, because a lot of these guys try to reinvent the wheel and put their stamp on these players.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think if Tiger stayed with Butch, right, forget all of the other swing changes. We might have seen even more majors out of him. He would have caught Jack, in my opinion, because we know how long it takes to make a swing change. As an amateur, it could take 4 or 5 years, or never happen. Period.
Yeah,
For Tiger to go through that in a year and a half, and it's not going to Haney was one thing, and then he started switching coaches again with Sean Foley, and so he's constantly changing that swing. And now that he's had how many operations, so he's got a new swing, which is mostly upper body.
yeah.
Right, that it takes a tremendous amount of practice to hone in a swing like that. So you go backwards. He stays with Butch, refines that swing. I think he would have had another 5 or 10 majors. Um,
Well, there's
so
certainly more wins. So certainly maybe, with Hank Haney, I didn't even mind the changes and the things he worked on because I like
mhm.
Hank Haney's approach. I've gone to PGA seminars and clinics with Hank, teaching them, and I thought it was fascinating. And there wasn't one thing that was controversial. Some of these guys get too much with the vests and the 3D analysis, and it certainly helps. But there is a point where you could overdo it. And nothing against Sean Foley because he's a sound instructor, but I think it was a little bit much with the philosophy. First, you're talking about a simple setup, and then all of a sudden you're talking about Nelson Mandela and what happened in World War One, right? I don't. These guys are a little bit all over the place with what he talks about. Very bright guy, looks pretty sharp
Oh,
and
for
all
sure.
that, but great Canadian teacher.
Yeah, and it, like everything that even as amateurs, you need to find the right coach, and you might go through 2 or 3 coaches until you land with somebody that clicks with you.
Yeah,
And it's the same on a pro level, probably even more so because the pros are so detailed and so knowledgeable about their swing.
yeah,
To get the right personality, it might even be a blend of 2 or 3 coaches, right? Like you'll have Dave
yeah,
Pells on your short game or your putting,
yes,
and you may have a swing coach, and then obviously they have psychologists and all of that. It's they have unlimited budget to get the advice they need for
right.
most pros.
Yeah, they're kind of the overcharging rate on tour is about $1,000 an hour. It just drives me bananas, but it is what it is. If they need to travel to an event, I don't know if they're taking care of them in any way. So if there are professionals out there, I am available. I've been doing this for going into my 25th season. I'll break down your swing. I'll explain it. We'll have fun doing it, and we'll go from there. Mike, it's been amazing. Thank you to once again to Jeff Hanning and ParaDaxGolf.com, your all-in-one cart bag. Our boys at ECS, Castilla Roofing, Mike Kelly, Lagmaster Sports, Mike Dixon. Will join us next week. We're going to have some fantastic guests. We're going to get right back into the groove in September with some talking about new products, new giveaways, and always talking about the modern golf swing, the tournaments. Shout out to Rob Labritz, man. You're on the cusp. He's on, Mike. I don't know if you know, but he's in 73rd place in
Hmm.
standings of the Charles Schwab Cup with money and points. He needs to move up $1,000. Think about that. It's one putt at one tournament. So he
Yeah,
can play in the playoffs and get into his top 36 to get another season on tour. So we wish him all the best.
absolutely. Go Rob.
Mike,
All right, everybody. Thank you. Follow us on socials. Click subscribe on YouTube. A like, a follow goes a long way, and we thank you for being with us.
Yep. Make sure, follow our merch. You in our links. Check out our links. You get your caps, your T-shirts, your Golf Podcast Live. We've got a whole bunch of branded stuff as well. I never push this, Mike. We never do. But you got to support us. We got a ton of cool product. And so take a look at what we've got there.
And more to come. Got some surprises through the fall. So thank you.
Cheers.